what did I have to understand to finally attract my soul aligned relationships? Seriously and honestly, to be 100% honest with you, I had to do a lot. So stay with me if you want to, know my steps, the steps that I did, and actually my advice from coming from a person who's done the inner work, has who was able to change and able to attract her soul aligned relationship. I'm now engaged and planning my wedding. However, I was not the person that you see today. Before, I was insecure. Before, I was looking for tactics to manipulate the man onto becoming obsessed with me. So I want to remind you that if you're looking for, tactics on how to make a man obsessed with you, you're only going to attract someone who is unconscious. You're going to attract someone who's not, who's wounded. Maybe someone who has not been able to work on their own intuitiveness. So stay with me because I'm going to share with you. I have my notes right here because I was journaling. And if you have any questions, please be welcome. I welcome you to write on your questions and I'll later go through them. Okay? There's so many things to look into. Just like I said, I was very insecure. I was looking outside for questions. So instead of, give me 1 second. Hello, welcome in. Okay, so this started when I was carrying insecurity, when I was unconscious, when I didn't know any better. So this is actually for the woman who's brave enough to actually walk the walk. Hi, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. This work is for the woman who is ready to face her own patterns, to face her own wounds, and to be able to notice whatever hasn't worked in the past, you have to make a change. So how do you do that? Is to actually asking yourself this question: are you willing to change everything, the identity that you've created? To be able to do this work, you have to be brave because it's not comfortable. It's a work that you have to start questioning your beliefs. You have to question everything that you've been brought up with. Question what you've been taught. Hello, yes, I am from United States. Thank you so much for your comments. We're going to talk about relationships today. And what did I actually have to understand before my life changed? I had to understand, or actually get into this mentality of, am I ready to start seeing things differently? Like, am I ready to actually make a change and do something different? Because, when you're attracting toxic relationships, when you are caught up on getting the attention from a man, that can only last so long. It's a short period of time when the person who is giving you this attention, yes, it might feel good, however, not in the long run. However, even though I say this, I'm a true believer that whoever you attract into your life, there has to be a lesson to be learned. Okay? So I had to actually stop searching outside for answers. I had to, let me know if you're struggling attracting your aligned relationship. Let me know if you're in a relationship where you don't understand each other. This is miscommunication. It's so common. Like, I feel like every person in their own relationships is not able to get their message across because they're not able to communicate in a healthy manner. So, yeah. Why? Because the relationship you're trying to create in the future, the one that you are dreaming about, is being blocked by the identity you've built to survive yesterday. Let that make sense. So for years I thought, finding the right man was the answer, but that's not the real answer why I'm here, live with you. It's actually, can you hear that? Are you able to hear that? If you are, I'm gonna wear the headphones. Are you? 1 second. Okay, now. So I discovered that becoming the woman who could recognize, who could receive and sustain, an extraordinary relationship, you need to become that woman. How do you actually do that? Yes, if you have any questions, just write them in and I'm going to answer them at the end, okay? I've been doing this inner work since I was 25. I am only 30. I'm only 30, and this inner work has been uncomfortable. It has been revealing. Before I didn't have, a good relationship with my family members, but now I have a fulfilling, very nice relationship with them. And at the end of the day, this inner work might be revealing, but uncomfortable to actually see your patterns, see how wounded maybe you are based on the relationship you had with your father or your mother. And at the beginning, it might be anger comes up, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness. But when you're able to just see your parents, and when you're able to just see yourself as a person, then you can evolve and just see them as human beings, just trying to make a life just like you are. We often forget that our parents are not only human. They're not only our parents, but like they're humans as well. So now, for the first time, I think I mentioned this in the past videos last week, that I'm ready. I'm bringing everything together, and I've created finally extraordinary relationships. Creating extraordinary relationships, and it's about learning how to. It's not about learning how to make someone choose you, but it's about becoming the woman who naturally creates a kind of love that feels safe, passionate, intentional, and deeply aligned. So yeah, today I'm dropping the first video ever. And this is a founding cohort. So you'll be joined at the very beginning with immediate access. Okay. And actually today is very special because the first lesson is officially released. So yeah, it's a one-time payment. Founding members will get this, will have joined at the lowest investment. If you've been doing the healing but still wondering why love hasn't fully reflected, I would love to welcome you here, okay? I'm so excited because, yeah. Do I like squirrels? Um, I'm not sure. I mean, I think they're pretty from far. Are you perhaps Latina? No, I'm actually from Peru, but I've lived in the United States since I was 10 years old. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Noni. Thank you, Veruca. Hello. Hello, Hack. Oh, I love you too. Hello, Trent. Um, I'm I'm not trying to be Kim K. By the way, this guy is saying that I'm a wannabe, but I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm just trying to be me. I'm not even trying. I am me, and that's that. Um, so yeah, if you have any questions about, the relationship, how to create an equal, balanced relationship with your soul aligned partner, let me know, because I'll be covering communication. I'll be covering, the beliefs that you have to unwire and learn, unlearn, and essentially changing the identity that you've created so far. Little chess queen, I'm so sorry that your dad passed away. Happy birthday. So, so yeah, how to create your most aligned relationship. Let's go into that. You know, let me just read what I wrote in the morning. I always journal, and it's very like whole thing that I wrote about creating extraordinary relationships. And when you're in this phase of like searching tools like, oh, how to make a guy like me or something like that, it's coming from a place where you're not even able to see yourself. It's coming from a place of like this need to be accepted by someone, which is so sad. I mean, I don't want to shame anyone because I used to be there, but like I also feel you, girl. Like maybe you didn't have the attention or the emotional need. You weren't held or nurtured in the past in your childhood years, or maybe you were betrayed that you want this so bad, right? It comes from a place of like, oh, I don't know my worth. It comes from a place of, I don't know what else to do for somebody to like me. It's coming from a place of lack. So when you become conscious of your value as a woman, I mean, I'm talking to women because a lot of my audience is women. It comes when you become conscious, you get this expansive energy all throughout. And when you, like, instead of, feeding off the lack that somehow, well, when you're unconscious, you don't really know that this is happening on the background. What I teach essentially in creating extraordinary relationships is how to feel this in for yourself, how to feel in the basket, your heart, your soul is craving for something, and we have to become aware of what that need is. Some people lack, the being seen. Some people want to be heard. Some people want to be held. It depends on who you are. We all have different needs. We have to be able to recognize them, to be able to give ourselves that, to attract what we want in a partner at the end of the day. Hello, Kevin. Thank you. Welcome in. Hey, cheer. I'm not sad. This guy is saying, this girl or guy, hey, cheer up. I'm not sad. It's coming from a place of I've been there, and I'm shedding light of what I've been through, and maybe that you might be in the same, space, or might be in the same situation. Let's shed some light, and actually, if you want to to attract your divine union, when you want to attract your soul aligned relationship, let's make it happen. Hello, I love donuts. Yes, there is a course, and you can sign up on the description box. Kevin, thank you so much, and I hope life blesses you with everything you desire. Okay? Hello, Lorenzo. Thank you for joining. I haven't watched that, The Walking Dead. Mr. Vex says, please see chat now. Hi, Anai. How are you? Blessings. This is the second time someone asks me for like a hair video. You can see it on the description box. So, okay, so I forgot where I was. So yeah, we're not able to look inwards when we're unconscious. We're not able to be like, oh, I'm searching for, like, how to be more confident, and the tips that you find on YouTube, they're like quick fixes, but they're not really giving you the foundation on where confidence, it's showing up daily. For example, it's not just doing one thing once, it's actually showing up every day for yourself. If you have a goal, it's showing up until you make that goal happen, and actually enjoying the process. It's not just doing one thing, like a quick fix. That makes sense. Hello, Adrian from Slovakia. That's so cool. Yes, please check it out. Yeah, another thing that I wrote, the question was, what do I believe is actually causing, what was the question? What does the Greta who had the relationship problems believed? And I wrote, they're asleep. She's asleep. She was unconscious. So I think one of my biggest advice is to look inwards, but with a guide. That might be a course, that might be someone who knows better, who you admire, and she's selling a course. That might be by reading books. Oh, another thing that I wrote, which is very, very revealing, is that she felt like she didn't have a safe space ever. That's so sad. This is sometimes, I'm just going to talk from my point of view because I can only explain this from my point of view. If you felt like you didn't have a safe space ever, maybe you didn't have someone you can count on, or maybe you didn't have genuine love, or maybe you had a lot of change in your childhood. I had a lot of change. That didn't mean that I didn't have people who I can count on, but like sometimes children can really that's why everyone's perception is very important, and to actually write down what your perception is, because it's running in the background. When something is running in the background, we have a unconscious entire mechanism that's working either against us or for us. Okay. Whoa. Okay, wait. This person said ski 660 said confidence comes from family and community because the world is so transactional and it will grind your spirit down. And your spirit needs a place to renew itself and revive itself. I do not agree at all. I do not agree with this statement at all, because I can see how stable people have this conception of like, oh, if I'm in a stable family, I'm my confidence is high. I didn't have that. So coming from a place that I didn't have the family or the stability or the community to rely on, I had to build it myself. And I think people like anybody that's not you, anything that's external, that might be people, family, community, just like you said, they're not you. And at the end of the day, they're going to either die. I mean, everybody dies, or there might be problems, and just to kind of like rely on outside things or outside people other than yourself, it's kind of putting yourself in like a one down position. Wouldn't you say? I don't agree with that. Let me know if you can elaborate more on why you said that confidence comes from family. I don't agree. But it comes from like what you're able to do, your inner foundation. Yes, that you might, build a relationship. Yes, I agree. But at the end of the day, like, if the other person makes a mistake, at the end of the day, we're all humans. Like, what if your person, the guy that you're with, or the girl that you're with, like, makes a mistake? You're saying the confidence comes from her or him? I don't know. I don't agree with that statement. Anyway, what are you guys saying? Hello. Regina says, let Jesus choose your mate. Okay, I like that because I'm spiritual. So whatever you believe in, your God, Jesus, the higher power, the higher source, the source. When I was rotational dating, I would say there was a special factor when it came to my fiance. So, but you have to do some kind of things, some type of things. Otherwise, you're going to continue choosing toxic partners or people that are not good for you. This course is like for women who are ready, who want to consciously build themselves in order to be a the perfect partner. Yeah. Hello. Um, David Lee says, well, a woman can most certainly make a man more confident. As a man can make a lady feel safe and secure, and it's mutually beneficial 1000%. I agree with you. Um, yeah, I agree with you. But that's like, do you see how you said make a man more confident? Like, there has to be some type of foundation. Like, it's not only relying on that person. I 1000% agree that a man can make a woman, feel safe and secure, which is essentially what all women want. And essentially having a woman who is emotionally grounded can make a man more confident. Yeah. Patricia says, I have a mate, but he doesn't really listen to me. Okay, can you elaborate more? I'm going to talk about like how you could make a man listen to you. So instead of like, how do you talk to him? First question, how do you talk to him? Is your tone of voice, calm? Because there are a lot of factors why this is. Let's pretend, please, Patricia, answer in the chat. Okay. Africa says, why are your lips swollen? My lips are not swollen. I think it's lipstick. Oh, Puggle Sky says that's the secret of community. Individuals pass on, but the next generation steps up to the plate, leads in some things, participate in others. Community gives you a chance to mean something to people. 1000%. Like, I agree with like having a community and sharing your knowledge, and building your own community to be able to help others. I agree with you, but like to say in the beginning, you said something along the lines of like community giving confidence. I think that was a completely different statement. However, what you're saying that now, I agree with. God bless you, Gauthier. Okay, Patricia. So, yes, take the course. This is the founding cohort. So today, today's a special day because the first lesson will be released in a couple of hours. For In 3 hours, the first lesson will be released, and in the description box you can see the link. Okay. AG says, what exactly is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is to be able to notice your emotions, feel them, and to give yourself what it is that you need. To be able to identify what you need and to be able to, for you to give it to yourself. Why? Because most of us have never been taught on how to feel. how to feel our emotions. What happens whenever we are crying? Most people are just like, oh, stop crying. What do you mean, stop crying? No. Shah Johnson says, hi, I'm from the UK. I'm 50. Next week, been married since 2004. Somewhat, I learned, I some of what I learned is choose your battles between one another, give each other space, and listen in difficult times. That's beautifully put together. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Marka. Hello, Sky. Hello, Himel. You're watching from Bangladesh. I, I'm in United States. David Shaw Johnson, David says, men and women are so self absorbed. It's crazy. So I believe you attract what you believe. Um, I'm not around a lot of people like that. So I would love for you to share why you're saying that. Is it because you're encountering those type of people, or what you watch is, yeah. Hello, it's so Patricia, to finally answer you. You know, you said that you have a relationship, and your partner is not able to listen to you, or yeah, he doesn't listen to you. You have to put in a lot, like many things into account. One is tone. The other thing is, like, if you're blaming your partner, he's going to be feel like you're mothering him. If you're blaming him, he's going to feel like he's going to feel like you're not really seeing everything that he's doing, and you're only emphasizing on what he's doing wrong. So what I say most times, it's like to be able to have a healthy and fulfilling relationship is to be able to communicate. And how do you do that? Hey, babe, I feel very annoyed that you don't listen to me in the first few minutes that I ask you to do something. I would really appreciate for you to take into account what I say. Mikey says, why take your advice when you obviously don't feel good about yourself and that you look fake? I often say that whatever you see in me is only a reflection of you, so I'm sorry you feel that way about you. Let me see. one thing that I also said, and I also wrote down on my journal today, it's very revealing. And the question, if you don't remember what I said in the beginning, the question was, what does the Greta who had relationship problems, what was the problem she was having within herself? And I wrote, she wanted to play the game. How many women want to play the game? The play the game of manipulating, of like not answering because I shouldn't be too available. To be honest with you, when you are manipulating, that doesn't attract, I said this in the past, that doesn't attract a high value or high value man, but it actually comes from wrong dating advice. And one last thing that I want to mention, because it's very important, is that she used to mistaken excitement for last minute dates because she thought she was being chosen. What does that really tell you when you are, you know, instead of being chosen, you think that you're being chosen last minute, but that's not what's happening. You're the last minute plan. You're the plan. You were in his mind last minute, and that's why he's telling you, oh, what are you doing? Um, yeah. So Shar Johnson says, I also think most relationships fails because of trust issues. A few friend marriages ended this way. Very sad. Yeah. What do you mean trust issues? Like someone actually cheated or they genuinely don't trust each other? And I can see that happening because when we don't look inwards, when we aren't questioning if the reality we're having it's real, it's not a projection of what we've been through. Maybe in the past you've been betrayed and now you think your current partner is going to do the same. Think trust issues and not being able to resolve it on your own can really play a hard and tough situation in your relationship if you currently have it. Fred says dating experiences of a man and a woman, two different planets, 1,000%. 1,000%. That's why I mentioned in the beginning that I come from, I'm sharing advice or guiding advice from a woman. Yeah. I don't think it's much easier for women. I think we're completely different like people. We complement each other. What a man gives, a woman gives something else, completely different. Peter says, I think it's hard to trust women these days. I rather focus on work and gym. I think there are different phases for a man. There's the building phase. There's boy building phase where you focus on yourself to essentially choose a woman and then you have that necessity of like having to build a family. That comes later. Shaw Johnson says, I think they cheated, but I think it's self-esteem issues, 1,000%. So yeah, that's what I said. That's why I said in the beginning, like Some other person said that people are too self-absorbed, but like self-esteem is a real issue, especially when you choose a partner. You have, the spark is not always going to be there, so you have to look for hobbies, you have to look to feed whatever it is that you need. Maybe you're needing some validation, and like you have to communicate that to your partner. And then women think, oh, but like how am I going to tell him to tell me I'm pretty? Or how am I going to tell him? You have to communicate what you need, otherwise he's not going to meet your needs because he's not a mind reader. Thank you, Wilson. I'm engaged. I don't have kids yet. Fred says, when a woman is over 35, say, and kids no longer an option, just not much reason for a man to settle down with her. I don't. I completely disagree with you. I have acquaintances, family members who are over 35. I'm 30. Who are looking for love, who are looking for a man, essentially, maybe not to settle down, but like to be their life partner. Like there's so much more to life, to travel, have a travel part have a travel buddy, a travel partner. uh, Essentially, women, we all want the same things at the end of the day. Even though we're different, men and women, we want companionship. I think when you grow older, you know what you want. And for a person to say, oh, just because you turn 35, a man will not settle down, that's more revealing about what you believe in. I don't agree with that statement. Think if you want it, you can have it. You just have to work through what your issues are to be aligned with it. Peter Stevenson asks, have you ever cheated? I have never cheated. Never. I truly value truth. I truly value being honest. I think if you're in a long-term relationship, you have to have a meeting about what your non-negotiables are. If it's a monogamous relationship, I mean, I've only been in monogamous relationships, but it's important nowadays to mention it when time is involved. Sanish says, "What's your skincare routine?" Thank you. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Hello, Tommy from Sweden. Welcome in. Nathan says it's crazy because when you're in LA, is that LA? When you or is that yeah? I think what. Anyway, he says it's crazy because when you're in LA, when someone like her, you have to agree. I truly value relationship, and for me to say that is, of course, in a relationship there are going to be disagreements. Like, you don't want to just be with a person who's going to say yes to you all the time. So, just like I said before, what you're saying and what you're sharing, it's really more revealing. And it's very good because you can finally question that, yeah, whoever believes that you have to say yes doesn't know how to be in a relationship. Fred said, I was explaining from a man's point of view, having a family, if having a family isn't an option, then not as much reason to be in a committed relationship. Could just keep it casual. Okay, yeah, maybe, maybe so. Like, there are so many people on the earth. What makes you think that you're not gonna find your perfect partner, you know? That's what I said. Whatever if you want to just, keep it casual, of course, there are many people who want just what you want. So, whoever said that what you want, there isn't a person out there looking for it. Patricia, you're not in New York City. What? My mom is in New York City. She lives there right now. I love New York City. I was raised there when I was 10 until I went to college there. So that's great. Kunal says, do you have any addictions? I'm addicted to feeling blissfulness. I'm not from Argentina. I'm from Peru. I mean, I was born there, but I've been in the United States longer. I have no thoughts on that. So, I'm currently in Florida in Wesley Chapel. However, I often go to New York and Miami. Hi, Charlotte. Hello. I don't know what that is. Chimichangas. So, yeah, you guys have to go because I have the other video coming up for creating extraordinary relationships. If you're feeling cold to join, don't wait more time because this is going to be so amazing, so fulfilling to be able to create finally create a relationship that your soul is meant for. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you there. Okay. Oh wait, I'm gonna answer the questions. Wait, let me answer this person that's saying that it's running away from her past. I was actually born in Peru. My mother lived in New York. Then I went to college in New York. Then I had a year in Peru. So that's why I said, like, a lot of change really plays out in your mind. Like, if, sorry, let me repeat that. In your childhood, if you weren't able to process what you were living, it somehow comes up in the future, in your present moment. So, yeah, I'm not running away from anything. I love to travel. Thank you, Peter. Take care. Thank you, David. I love to help. I mean, shed some light, you know? Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye. I have to go.